Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Passive Income Show here, where I'm taking you through my day trading challenge of May. And so far in May, I have 11 winning days. So I've profited in 11 days out of the month, only had 3 losing days. And we're coming into the last week of the month. So I really want to finish off this week strong with no losers. Today I was up $26 in just 35 minutes. So 35 minutes of trading. Up $26, and let's take a look at the charts and see exactly what my trades were. Now, I'll preface this all by saying that I'm not getting the fills that I want. It's just not, I'll press buy or I'll press sell, and it takes a while to get the order filled. And so I need to really iron that out before I scale up this strategy. If I'm going to scale up this strategy and trade more, it's just not something where if I'm going to put a lot of money at risk, then I want to make sure that it's able to adhere to the plan of attack that I have based on my charting and analysis and all that. But anyway, so I just wanted to preface this with that. Maybe I'll talk about it in a little bit, but let's dive into the charts. Here we go. All right, so here we are inside of Thinkorswim. This love-hate relationship that I have is on full display today because I have a few different trades. I traded SRNE, just 100 shares again. If you've been following along, I've been trying to I've been trying to add a strategy of trading these momentum stocks, these breakout gappers, and today didn't really work, so I tried setting a tight stop. Let's see if I can get a chart up for you on this. Yeah, so I tried setting a tight stop on this chart. I know it's a little scrunched, but I want to preserve this screen here. Right about here is where I tried, and I thought this was going to be the bottom. And it was not the bottom. It in fact continued to trail off. But because I had such a tight stop, only lost $8. And the risk-reward ratio on some of those gappers, some of those momentum stocks, is what I'm really interested in. And so that's why I'm going to continue to try to trade this. But, whatever. Not with a lot of shares, that's for sure. Over here on MTC, again, another stock that I tried to trade. I'm actually going to close SRNE for us here because we don't need it now that I explained that I lost money on it. Now let's go over to MTC, which is another stock that I tried trading early out of the gate. And while it was a big gapper right away, I think it was up like 115% from prior to the Memorial Day weekend, it was just choppy out of the gate. So I thought this would be a great entry, and it turned out that it went up to 290 but then collapsed down, and so lost some money there. So again, I think I actually re-entered, so 200. So I went 100 up here somewhere with a really tight stop, lost money on that because it didn't break out. And then I tried to re-enter down here thinking that this was a double bottom and that I could kind of play this up. But as you can see, collapsed back down and we're still on sort of this downtrend. So that's where MTC is. Only lost $12 on the day. So there you go, $20 in losses for me on the day. It'll be interesting to see what happens to these, and I'm looking forward to going back, and because I keep a trading notebook, I can retrade these stocks if something else were to happen here, so I can kind of hone in my plan that way too. All right, let's look at the main event for me, which is SPY, which is the ETF of the S&P 500. This is what I trade very well every day. I trade this one here, and I traded 1,900 shares today, which seems like a ton. But it was all pretty much in 100. Well, I'd start with maybe 300. I'd get a good entry at 300, and then I'd set my stops by thousands, or I'd enter in, or by hundreds rather, or I'd enter in hundreds, and then I would exit in all at once. So just kind of a crazy day. This is an interesting setup here where we broke out of this pattern, came back down and retested. We might see this continue to rise here. That would have been an interesting play for me if I wasn't making this video, but whatever. That's what you get. Let's look at the trades for today. So you can see that we are in this downtrend right out of the gate here at the opening bell. Just before the opening bell, actually, about 9 minutes or 8 minutes prior, we set this overnight high of 302.26, and from then we started to trail off at the opening bell, popped back up, but was unsuccessful in maintaining that upward thrust and continued downward. So right away I was waiting to see if this was going to be a reversal, which I thought it might be here, like a reversal upwards, back to the VWAP, back to the exponential moving average. It tricked me in coming back down again and then going back up to the VWAP and the exponential moving average. So if I held, I would have been great, but it wasn't something worth, it wasn't something that was great for me. Lost some money on that trade early on. Then that's when I started to draw some trend lines. I hadn't drawn many trend lines before then. I just thought, oh, this is falling so much, I'll just play it off of the VWAP. Did so unsuccessfully. But then I drew some trend lines and kind of looked at what is the chart telling me. So up here on the 5-minute chart, you can see I put this trend line from this point here, which is after a huge gap up, if you can see this. Just sort of shoots up on... Because we had a 3-day weekend, it's really difficult for me to know what's going on here, but it looks like this was on the 26th or something, or no, it's the 26th today. Yeah, so this must have been, Monday. I don't know what time that was. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock right there. So gapped up. That's where I started my trend line, because I said this is a new move. And so now from there, I drew this trend line here off of this point, and you can see that we've come up to that point right now. So this will be interesting to see if it maintains here or if it falls back down. My bet would be that I'm not gonna bet. I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens if it's able to maintain this level or if it's going to come back crashing down to retest this 297 long-term trend line. It's got to come back and retest this at some point because it's been in this. It's so difficult to get over this line that I just think it has to come back down and test this, and then it can break up if it's going to break up. So we'll see what happens there. But that's where we are right now. We came back down below this line. Now we came back up to test it, back down, back up to test it, and we'll see what happens from there. Okay, back to the trades. So I did trade successfully on, once I drew that in, I was able to trade this move up successfully back to here, and then I got out and was very cautious about it, didn't want to do that. Once we formed another top here, I was able to draw sort of a downward trend line, and so I drew this based off of this next attempt up that failed, and based on those two peaks, that's where I drew in this downward trend. So with that, that was my big theory with these two trend lines, was that it was forming some sort of triangle that we were going to break out of. It broke down and then tried to retest. It did at this resistance zone and then came back down. So I was able to trade this swing. I'll draw it because it's worth noting. Once it tested here and came back down, I was able to get in at a good price, trade it, and then I was very cautious in my stop at this point, but it did not, play around very much. It didn't like pop back up and then go through until it really shot back down. I was able to gain profit. So this was a candle that took a big swing. So I didn't get out there. I got out somewhere down here. And so that was a really good trade. And then since then, we've been seeing it coming back up and moving down, and we'll see what happens here. Again, I think this might break down, so this would be a good trade, probably below 301. Let's do it. Let's actually trade this down. All right, cool. So just made some money on that. Wanted to just do that really quick because you could see how laggy it was, and I don't like that. I think this might be a big move back down, to be honest with you. But it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. So now what are we at? We're at 58. Now I got to do the old math here. 58.94. I'm sure I could do it. It's just minus 20, Ryan. Good. So $38.94 today. $38.94 today. There we go. That is, at Costco, a box of diapers costs $35. So that is going to cover diapers with tax probably. So wonderful. There we go. Anyway, good trade. Okay, so traded some more there based on this pattern, this rejection of this trend line, and onward we go. So those were the trades today. Let me mark this just so I can come back and reference it. Really important that you have a way to document your trades or go back and look at your trades, or just to be aware of what your trades are, so that you can go back and learn from them. Because if you're not learning from them, then you're really just, it's pretty much just gambling. If you don't have no strategy and you're just going off of the advice of other people and someone heard a stock tip here or something, it just really just becomes gambling. So I'm going to mark these up so I can remember the charting involved with these. Cool. Coming back up and testing again, my goodness. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Doesn't matter for me. I'm done trading for the day. So hope you guys learned something from that. Do not trade, though. The disclaimer would be that trading is very dangerous, and it can become gambling and addictive, and you don't want to do it because it's risky. People lose a lot of money doing this. So I'm very happy to have 11 winning days, and today, again, a $38 day, which is wonderful. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope you have a productive day doing whatever it is that you're doing. And we'll see you back tomorrow, hopefully, for another one of these videos, and finishing out the month strong here on my day trading challenge extravaganza. So have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys later. Oh, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, do all that stuff. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors.